May 29th, 2022. In the series of events in my life that weird things can happen, this is another situation that was kind of weird. My mom and dad lived in Cedar Hills in a little red brick house. Well, it wasn't little, it was like 1,400 square feet, so it was pretty big. Diagonally across was a woman. She must have been a cafeteria worker. I think her husband was either divorced or long since gone or deceased. And she was in her late 50s, early 60s, and they lived over there diagonally across. We'll call them the Goodwins. We'll say Clara Goodwin and her son Chuck Goodwin. And he was like an adjunct professor, and the only thing my mom couldn't stand over there was the fact that he would have like 3 days worth of newspapers beside his recliner. That drove her crazy. She was from Philadelphia. You didn't leave newspapers like that, one day and then 2 day and 3 day, and she just didn't understand him at all that much. But my mom's IQ was like 142, and Chuck's IQ was pretty high also. And my mom was friendly with everybody, but she did mention she didn't like, don't leave glasses around and don't leave the newspaper piled up like that. Pick the newspaper up after you're done with it, whatever. That bothered her for some reason. Anyway, the older lady was retired. I think she had been a cafeteria worker in one of the schools. They were all involved with the schools. Lo and behold, he got married, and he brought a wife to her home, to his child. I guess they've been there a long time, maybe childhood home. I don't know how long they'd been in there. And because the homes were built in the 50s, so this was like the 70s. And he got married, and I don't know if they didn't, and she was also an educator, a teacher. So the mom was a cafeteria worker in a school. He had written a couple episodes for the Twilight Zone. I was amazed with that. And Chuck had written a couple episodes for the Twilight Zone. That's pretty impressive, that were picked up and used on the television network, the Twilight Zone. And I thought that was impressive, Maybe he was a creative writer, I don't know. Anyway, the mother had enough money from the ex-husband, deceased husband, her jobs throughout her life, that she was going to go ahead and buy a condominium at the beaches, somewhere between St. Augustine and Jacksonville Beach. There were these condos, and we call them summer homes or duplexes. You had one person living on one side, and it was like it was a house, and it was in the dunes, and then somebody else had the other side of the house with a garage and the whole 9 yards, but the house was split in the middle, and you had one half, and the co-tenant had the other half, and they were purchased. Let's call them summer homes or townhomes, duplexes. And she did this. She also had a little bit of heart disease and diabetes at that time, and say she was in her mid-60s. And Chuck got the home in Cedar Hills. He and his wife and his adopted daughter. They adopted a daughter. My dad treated the daughter like his grandchild since I never had children. And I was in and out because by that time I had a career and I was going to school, so I was just in and out intermittently, go by and see, to hear these stories. Well, lo and behold, his mom, I called her Claire, I don't know what her name was, she died. She was in her condominium when she had just purchased it, and she had something happen to her while she was doing the dishes in the kitchen, and he said, he told us, and he would talk to my mom, because my mom had a high IQ and he had a high IQ, and they would talk. And that his mom had died, and he thought it must be heart or diabetes related. Well, lo and behold, the detectives came and told him, no, Chuck, your mother's been shot through the head. And shot through the head through the kitchen window. And what the hell? So the woman that lived on the other half of the townhome came to the police and said, I've just bought this townhome also. I think my ex-husband has put a hit on me. And they did not hit me through the dunes. They hit the neighbor lady. And that's what it was. That's how it came about, because they must have turned the suspicious eye to Chuck. I don't know, because here's his mother had just bought this townhome or duplex, and then she shot in the kitchen. And because the first 3 days he just thought his mom had died of diabetes, or maybe had a heart attack or something, and that she was all upset already. And now the detectives have come and told, no, your mom was hit right through the forehead. And so I said, well, how did they ever find out what had happened? Because, he would have been a suspect himself, being the closest relative. But no, the reason it came out is a woman that lived on the other side said, I think my husband put a hit on me, and they hit the wrong person. So that's what had happened, and then the whole thing fell apart for her ex-husband, the woman in the townhome. She turned him in. She said someone was trying to kill her. So, and he had hitmen to try to kill her. So this is the odd stuff that goes on in my life. So there's not much that I don't remember, and I would say that probably. Now, as far as the Bundy trial, I got hired at IRS in August of '79, August 13th. I don't think I was watching the trial. Again, my feeling was, what a weirdo. Look at all the things he's done. I'm not interested. He's captured. Don't let him loose. Do not let him loose. Something is wrong with him. One of the results and the police talking about all they found was a jawbone and I thought they were talking about people that died at the beach and stuff. But I think sometimes they were telling me there was a lot of talk about whether you can search a car, the whole thing, and in my criminal justice courses, how do you search a car and all this, and I think some of that was a result of Bundy. But I didn't know it at the time. I said, God, we're going a long time over the searches of a vehicle. What the hell? Breaking and entering, whatever. Anyway, so I didn't really watch that trial. And I know, because, if you just got a career, finally, after all my turmoil, I was, at IRS. I'm not going to sit there, I got to run home and watch it. I think I watched snippets of it. I think I must have watched his mother testifying. But other than that, I didn't, it was just, this weirdo's been captured, and they're going to decide what to do with him. Don't let him loose. Ever after, I always have a nightlight on. Mr. Sullivan talking about only people who ever saw that face. I saw the face, and he did say Theodore. So, it's just one of them fluke things. I wish if I had my way. Oh, I did figure something out, though. I looked on the historical weather, and I looked at Lake City in February 9th, 1978. It was 39 degrees, so that's not too bad. I hate anything under 32. I hate it. And what it was, there were wind gusts, and we usually get something called northeaster. The ocean, the Atlantic Ocean on one side, the Gulf of Mexico on the other side. The whole state has this salt-like thing going across it, big waves of air. So there were gusts of winds that day of 20 miles an hour. That's pretty gusty wind, 20, 21 miles an hour. I looked at this historical thing. And the temperature was 39, and the wind chill factor was 28. So when they say it was blustery, it was blustery. So that was the morning that Kimberly Leach went out. 39, wind chill factor 28 because of the wind gusts. So it must have been it must have rained or something. Oh, yeah, they said it rained. That's why they were in the gym. Okay, that's one. And two, in January 5th, 1967, when he was at Jeb Stewart and Debbie and I pretended to hitchhike, it was 83. It wasn't very windy, but it was like the beginning of summer. It was 83 to 85 that morning at noon. 83 to 85. And I think I just wanted to get home. It's the start of summer. And Debbie was, just lollygagging. All right. Thank you. Good night.